So, yeah, I wake up this morning, grab my phone, you know, the usual sleepy scroll through Twitter, and suddenly I'm staring at this headline that honestly made me pause. OpenAI just open sourced their latest LLM. I mean, I genuinely thought someone was trolling. Refresh the page, check the comments twice. Because, come on, OpenAI going open source? These guys literally wrote the playbook on closed APIs, locked down models, and safety filters for days. It's always been their brand. And now, out of nowhere, we have two full on production ready models, 120B and 20B parameters, completely open. You can download, fine tune, and even use them commercially without asking anyone's permission. Honestly, it still feels surreal, but it's real. And if you're building apps solo, hacking together indie projects, or just tired of API limits, this isn't just news, it's a legit turning point. Real quick, I'm Daniel. I've been doing the whole iOS thing for about 8 years now, freelancing, shipping apps for clients. You know the drill. But since DubDub 25, I've jumped fully into the solo dev journey, building apps in public, figuring out all this personal branding stuff in real time. Still very much a work in progress, but that's a story for another day. Today, let's dig into what OpenAI actually dropped, what makes these new open models special, and why, for indie devs like us, it changes everything. So, what's new? OpenAI just announced not one, but two new open models, GPT-OSS 120B and GPT-OSS 20B. These aren't little research toys, they're full-scale language models, trained on a blend of RL and all the fancy alignment tricks you'd expect from their flagship O models. The 120B model is their heavyweight, 117 billion parameters, 128K context window, mixture of experts architecture. It's meant to compete head to head with models like DeepSeek, Viwell, or O4 Mini. The 20B is the small one, if you can call 21 billion parameters small these days. And get this, the 20B actually runs on a phone, not a theoretical claim. I saw a demo running on a beefy Android. But here's what's wild. Both models are out under the Apache 2.0 license, which means you can download, fine tune, even ship them in your own apps. That alone is a shift. 5 years ago, the last time OpenAI did anything close to this was GPT-2. The world has changed a lot since then. Let's get into the details. If you're a hardware nerd, the big 120B model is built for serious GPUs. Think 80 gigabytes VRAM, H100 class machines. It's not edge hardware, but it is feasible for big labs, and honestly, a growing chunk of indie hackers renting cloud time. But the 20B, this thing is genuinely efficient. 21B parameters, 16 gigabytes RAM minimum, meaning you could actually run this on a high-end laptop, or if you're adventurous, a modern phone with some memory wizardry. For solo devs, that's the difference between cool, I guess, and I can actually try this out. Both models are mixture of experts, MOE, so not every parameter is active for every token. That means better efficiency for most use cases, and in practice, lower inference cost. They both offer a 128K context window. Maybe not the 200,000 to 300,000 some mega models advertise, but more than enough for real workflows, code bases, long chats, summarizing actual books. It's the kind of spec that sounds niche, but when you've hit context limits in the past, you know how huge this is. Benchmarks, here's where it gets spicy. On Codeforces, the go-to for coding benchmarks, both OSS models hold their own. The 20B with tools basically matches O3 Mini, and the 120B comes within striking distance of O4 Mini. In humanity's last exam, which is this brutal test of reasoning, logic, and everything you'd expect a model to trip on, the 20B gets surprisingly close to O4 Mini, while the 120B beats it on some tests. Is it state of the art? Not everywhere, but for open source, these are some of the strongest numbers I've seen this year. And it's not just code and math. They do well on health science and philosophy too. So, why is this such a big deal? OpenAI going open source is more than a marketing stunt. It's a signal, maybe even an admission, that the closed forever play isn't sustainable. The ecosystem has shifted. DeepSeek, Kimi K2, Quen, Yi, all the new open models. They're forcing everyone's hand, even the old guard. And as a solo dev, this is huge. We finally get first-party OpenAI models we can tinker with, deploy, and fine-tune without waiting for some API approval or running up a usage bill. For indie founders, this is creative oxygen. You can try ideas locally, iterate fast, ship without worrying about tokens or privacy. That's wild because it means your side project, your niche app, or even your little iOS widget can tap into tech that used to be walled off for the big players. There's something else I love here. Both models let you dial up or down their reasoning chain. Want quick answers for basic tasks? Drop the chain of thought. Need deep math or code reasoning? Crank it up. That flexibility is rare, and it's a sign they're thinking about real-world builders, not just leaderboard flexing. Look, benchmarks are nice, but I'm always skeptical until I try a model myself. Lab numbers are one thing. Real-world coding, weird edge cases, accessibility, API quirks. That's where the truth lives. The OSS models look great on paper, but I'm already planning to throw my weirdest indie dev tasks at them. Bug explanations, SwiftUI scaffolding, even accessibility label suggestions. If you want to see a live breakdown or a side-by-side with Claude, O4, or DeepSeek, drop a comment below. That's the only way to see how these stack up for what solo builders actually need. Okay, so how do you get your hands on these? Both models are released under Apache 2.0, no legal headaches, business safe, fine-tuning encouraged. The weights are live on Hugging Face with official download links, and OpenAI says they're also live on Azure, LM Studio, Together AI, and OpenRouter. Basically, pick your favorite platform and go. OpenAI going open source is the tech world's version of the it'll never happen moment actually happening. For years, solo devs have been stuck watching the big players from the sidelines or hacking around API quotas and access walls. Now, we get a seat at the table. Is this going to level the playing field overnight? Of course not. But it's a powerful signal that the open ecosystem matters, that solo indie hackers are worth building for, and that the next wave of app ideas can come from anyone, anywhere, without $1 million budget. Personally, I'm excited and a little cautious. I want to see how these models handle messy, real-world indie projects, the kind of stuff I actually build, not just academic benchmarks. But this is the most excited I've been about a new LLM release in a long time. All right, that's my take, but I'm super curious. Are you actually going to give these new OpenAI models a spin? Would you trust running them locally in your next indie app, or are you still reaching for Claude, DeepSeek, or something else? Drop your thoughts down below. I seriously read every single comment, and I'd love to hear what you think. If you want me to run a head-to-head test between these models, just let me know which tasks matter most to you. And hey, if you enjoyed this one, do me a quick favor. Tap like, hit subscribe if you're not already, and maybe share this video with another indie dev who needs to know the big news. Also, if you want to keep in touch or just see what I'm working on behind the scenes, come hang out over on Instagram at SoloSwiftCrafter, or even better, support what I'm doing over on Patreon. All links are below. Until next time, keep crafting, keep experimenting, and remember, solo dev life doesn't have to mean going it alone. Peace.